Hello everyone, how's you all? I hope you all are doing well at your home. In the series of the Indian economic development, the chapter number first, Indian economy on the eve of independence. This is the video of number 4, and in this chapter we are going to study about the infrastructure on the eve of independence and the demographic structure and the demographic conditions on the eve of independence. So before to study of the infrastructure and the demographic, please go to the video number 3, 2 and 1 as well on my YouTube channel to get the knowledge about the Indian economy on the eve of independence, that is chapter number 1st of Indian economic development. So let's begin. Actually, this video is all about how the infrastructure occurs on infrastructure's development on the eve of independence, as well as what is the demographic conditions on the eve of independence. In the infrastructure of independence, we study about the railways, roadways, power generation, irrigation and the health sector. Railways. Railways was introduced in India in 1853. Actually, it was introduced in 1850 and the first operation was done in the 1853 from Bombay to Thane, which was about the 34 kilometers of the area. The railways is the only one thing which has directly benefited the Indian economy and operated by the Britishers. It means यानी Britishers की एक ऐसी चीज जिसने केवल और केवल हमें एक रेलवेज ऐसी चीज थी जिसने इंडिया को बेनिफिट किया है. बाकी एवरीथिंग दे गॉट due to the exploitation of Indian economy. So in the railways, it is introduced in 1853. What are the features of the railways? Railways actually the cheapest mode of the transportation, and till now it is the cheaper mode of the transportation in the roadways, air transports, marine transports, in all the transports. Railways is the cheapest mode of the transport. It is the cheaper mode of transport. It increases the volume of trade. By the introduction of the railways, the trading activities will increases in India so far, and it also enhances the agriculture to become the commercialization. It means the sustainable productivity of the agriculture turn up into commercialization of agriculture. Third one is it also increase the rapid movement of the goods and services as well as people. Railways is also introduced for the rapid, cheap and the rapid movement of goods as well as the people. But that kind of introduction of railways has benefited the Indian economy, but it is the sole motive to benefit the Indian economy through the railways by the Britishers? No, they do not want to get the independent economy of India through the railways, roadways or anything etc. What is the major motive behind the introduction of railways? The major behind of the introduction of railways by the Britishers is first for the cheap and the rapid movement of the raw material from the railway stations to the seaports. Actually, they want the raw material from the ports to the seaports, railway stations to the seaports. Let's suppose this is your Jaipur railway station and this is your Chennai seaport or the Madras seaport. So from here, from the railway station to the seaports, the raw material is to be transported through the railways. By the roadways, there is a large cost incurred for the movement of the raw material, but railways is the cheapest mode of the transportation of the raw material, as well as when they get the raw material from the Indian market, produced in the Britain, and then after such railway stations are also connected with the markets to sell their produce. It means the railway stations are connected to the seaports for the transportation of raw material, as well as connected to the major markets to supply the finished goods in the Indian market. So first motive is to the cheap and rapid movement of the material. Second one is to mobilize the British army over the Indian territory. Why it is so? Because the after the 1857 there are some type of revolutions. At time to time there are some revolutions or increases, and to cope up with these type of revolutions and these type of rights, the Britishers want a proper system to cop up these type of the revolutions. So the Britishers want the proper transportation system. That is why they introduced the railways to mobilize the British army over the Indian territory to surpass these rights. Is that clear? It means there are two motives. First one is cheap and rapid movement of the raw material to the seaports and connected to the major markets, as well as to mobilize the British army to cope up with the rights and the revolutions which are initiated by the Indians to get the freedom. Is that clear? यानी उन लोगों का मतलब हमारे लिए सही नहीं था. वो बात अलग है कि उन्होंने हमारे लिए गड्ढा खोदा और उस गड्ढे में वो खुद ही फंस कर हमारे लिए कुछ चीजें उन्होंने अच्छी करके दी थी. Next, the second one is roadways. Roadways are also introduced to the at the time of the Britain because there is the lacking of the all-weather connectivity roads in the India. So let's suppose this is a particular place of Jaipur, and there are various types of the agricultural productivity or some raw materials are there. So it is not possible to initiate a railway station in each and every villages. So to connect the villages to the major railway stations, roadways are required. It means the system from the particular village to the major railway stations, they connected through roadways, and then after the major railway stations connected to seaport through the railways, because they want to exploit the Indian economy as well as much they can. It means from transporting the raw material to the major railway stations, they connected the major railway stations to the villages through the roadways, and then after the major railway stations are connected to the seaports with the railways. Is that clear? Next, third one is the power generation. Actually, at that time we using the coal for the power generation. At that time, our capacity is 6.6 billion kilowatt per hour, which was very insufficient as per the demand. Next, the irrigation. The 17.7% of the net sown area was facilitated by the irrigation, because as we know that the Indian economy is totally dependent, or the Indian agriculture is totally dependent on the agriculture, and the agriculture is totally dependent on the rainfall. If there is a good rainfall, then there is a good harvest. If there is a bad rainfall, then there is a bad harvest. We do not have the sufficient amount of the inland sources like the wells, ponds, streams, etc. So only the 17.7% of the net sown area, जितना हमारे अपन कहते हैं इरिगेशन के लिए अपने को जो एरिया चाहिए था, सोन मतलब जितना आपने क्या किया एग्रीकल्चर की जितनी डिगिंग वगैरह करके, या अपन को जितना अपन ने खेती बाड़ी करनी है, उस खेती बाड़ी का only 17.7% एरिया is the net sown area of the irrigation. Is that clear? So this is the demographic structure, infrastructure on the eve of the independence. In the infrastructure, only the railways is the one thing which is directly benefited the Indian economy and initiated by the Britishers. But as we know that they do not want to benefited the Indian economy. The motive behind the introduction of railways is this, but also this features same as well. Next, the demographic structure on the eve of independence. What is the demographic structure? Demographic structure counts the living things, the birth rates, death rate, life expectancy, number of disease, healthcare system, etc. So in this context, the first of all, the size of population. Actually, according to the 1901 census, our India's population is about around the 10 crores. But then after that, the population continuously rises until now the 2011. It means among the 11 census, only the 1921 is that year in which the growth rate of the population becomes negative. I repeat, the growth rate of population becomes negative, not the population. Population doesn't become negative, the growth rate of the population becomes negative. That is why the 1921 is known as the Great Divide Year. Why it is known as the Great Divide Year? Because at that time there is a massive spreadness of communicable disease like malaria, cholera, plague, Heza, etc. That is why the size of population becomes down. At that time only the population growth rate becomes negative. Then after to the 1921 to till 2011, the growth rate of the population continuously increases. The population continuously rises. tremendously. So this is the size of population. The 1911 to the 1921 is known as the Great Divide year because of the communicable disease. It is a 1 mark question of the CBSE. Why which year is known as the Great Divide of year? 1921. Why it is known as the Great Divide of year? Because of massive spreadness of communicable disease like malaria, cholera, plague, etc. Second one, the high birth rate and the death rate. High birth rate and death rate means the birth rate is much more at that time. It was about 48 per thousand. The birth rate is 48 per thousand. It means 1000 लोगों पे 48 नए बच्चे पैदा हो रहे थे. And the death rate is also at the 40 per thousand. Why it is so? Because at that time we do not have the proper healthcare system. The public do not have the much awareness. Just because of the massive spreadness of the 1921, the growth rate becomes negative. So people are thinking that they requires more and more children to get the more and more income. That means there is a there is proper lacking of the awareness. They are not literate. तो सीधी आम भाषा में अगर मैं कहूँ तो उस वक्त टीवी नहीं हुआ करता था. आगे देखिए, नेक्स्ट है द हाई इन्फेंट मोर्टेलिटी रेट. हाई इन्फेंट मोर्टेलिटी रेट, व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ द इन्फेंट मोर्टेलिटी रेट? इन्फेंट मोर्टेलिटी रेट मींस द चाइल्ड हु डाइज बिफोर द कंप्लीशन ऑफ एज ऑफ 1 year. The child dies before completion the age of 1 year is known as the infant mortal, and this rate is known as the infant mortality rate, and that rate was very high at that time, that is 218 per thousand. It means 1000 बच्चों में से 218 बच्चे 1 साल की एज कंप्लीट होने से पहले ही मर जाते थे. और कहीं ना कहीं ये भी रीजन है हमारी बर्थ रेट ज्यादा होने का, क्योंकि लोगों की टेंडेंसी बन गई थी कि अगर हमने 5 किए तो उनमें से 2 या 3 ही बच पाएंगे. Clear है? Next, the literacy level. So that the literacy level is the total literacy is about 16%. What is the meaning of literacy? Actually, the literacy and the education are the different concept. Literacy counts those persons who can read, write, and do their daily works like the counting of the money, etc. And it was about the 16% only. मतलब केवल जिन्हें पढ़ना आता है, लिखना आता है, अपना नाम बोलना आता है, they are only 16%. Among the 100% population, only 16% are literate. It means there is a massive literacy that was 84% at that time. But the condition of the female education is also worse than this. That was only 7%. It means for the female, their literacy level is only the 7% only. Low life expectancy. Life expectancy means a person expected to live in his life, and that was only 32 years per annum. It was about 32 years per annum, यानी लगभग 32 साल तक की एक आदमी की औसत जिंदगी हुआ करती थी. Why it is so? Because there is a high birth rate. Why it is high birth rate? Communicable disease like cholera, plague, malaria, etc. Is that clear? And that is why there is a low life expectancy. But now the healthcare system revised, and now it is 68.3 years. It means the life expectancy was increases in 2 times. There is a widespread poverty because there is no proper employment, there is no proper irrigation facilities, the industrial sector lacking behind, service sector was a little bit amount of industries or the services are there, and the persons are totally engaged on the agriculture sector. That is why the per capita income is only per capita income at that time rupees 20 to 30% per person per year. मतलब एक साल में एक आदमी on an average केवल 20 से 30 रुपए कमाता था. Is that clear? जो कि आज की तारीख में per capita income is rupees 1,14,000. 1,14,000 रुपए जो हमारी आज की per annum income है per capita income. At that time it was only 20 to 30%. Is that clear? In the first video we talking about that R.C. Desai says that India is not a poor country, it is the country of a poor person. That is why it is the country of a poor person, because at that time we do not have that much amount of the money. आई होप ये वीडियो आपको पसंद आया होगा. इसको अपने दोस्तों के साथ, अपने क्लासमेट्स के साथ में शेयर कीजिए. मेरा चैनल विजय वर्गीय क्लासेस बाय अंकित सर, उसको सब्सक्राइब करना ना भूलें. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आप सभी का. अगले वीडियो तक का इंतजार करें. तब तक के लिए घर रहें, सुरक्षित रहें. नमस्कार.